Hi, my name is Shanna Schaefer, and I am a nurse with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I am the managing editor here at bestnursingdegree.com, and we wanted to give you some tips on finding an RN to BSN program. There are some extremely important things to think about when you're looking for an RN to BSN program. I will say that first and foremost. It is a big undertaking, especially if you intend to keep working as a nurse while you go to school. It can be a financial undertaking depending on where you choose to attend. So that's something worth considering. And overall, the first thing that you need to think about when you're thinking about going to get your BSN after having your RN is it worth it to you? What's it going to mean for your future in nursing? And that's really going to drive your decisions. Some of the basic tips that I would say is, number one, make sure that you start by looking at the schools that are near you. Many RN to BSN programs are offered online, but there are very, very few who do not require clinical time. So finding a school that's near you with clinical sites in your own community. Again, most of these are going to be like population-based health and community health clinicals. So you're going to want to be somewhere nearby so you're not driving 3 or 4 hours to go do a clinical rotation that takes you an hour. The second thing that I'd consider is obviously price. I think it's important to be wise and consider what you are capable of. Be sure and look into scholarships. There are tons of scholarships out there. We offer one on our own site, so I hope you check it out. But there are grants. Make sure that you speak to if you're working already, make sure that you speak to the hospital or the healthcare facility where you work about tuition reimbursement. This is huge. They want you as an RN to go ahead and get your bachelor's degree because this is going to make you a more effective, a safer, a more efficient nurse. So most of the facilities are totally willing to reimburse you for a certain amount of tuition. So take advantage of that. That's a huge tip for completing an RN to BSN program. You'll also want to make sure that the program where you're getting your RN to BSN is fully accredited. There is nothing worse than getting into a nursing program and realizing that it's not going to apply. You obviously already have your RN license, so it's not as huge of a deal as it might be if you were just getting into the field. But if you plan on going into your master's or becoming a nurse practitioner, any sort of advanced degree, you're going to want to make sure that that school is properly accredited. Some other tips include making sure that they have flexible scheduling with classes. You're not going to want to attend a program that's making you attend classes 8 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those days are over if you are a working nurse. I know I attended classes for like 2 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which was completely feasible with my working schedule. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your work schedule and your school schedule are compatible. Take into consideration any life events you have going on. If you're planning a wedding, if you're planning on expanding your family, if you're taking a big trip, if you are, undertaking a huge fundraising project or anything that's going to compromise your ability to actually get down and study and learn the material and perform at your best, you may want to postpone your decision a little bit. Doesn't mean that you don't have to go back, but you might want to just be realistic and think about that. Again, one of the most important tips is making sure that you utilize all of the funding that your employer will give you. Working nurses need all the help they can get to get through school, so reach out about the tuition reimbursement. Other tips for choosing an RN to BSN is to do your research. I think I looked at about 10 or 15 schools when I started looking for a program. I whittled it down to 3, and then I spoke with admissions and the nursing program at each of those schools, asked them my specific questions that I had, evaluated costs versus time, looked at their curriculum, and made sure that I chose the program that was the best for me. You'll also want to make sure that you have the support of your employer and your family if you have one. Whoever you can reach out to just kind of lend a hand and make things easier for you. We all know that nursing school is tough, and going back for your bachelor's is no different. And I think my biggest tip is just trust your gut. If you find a program and you think it's right for you, then explore it. If it's time to go back. If you're feeling like, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm not ready for this, maybe you're not ready. But I think trusting your gut, doing the research, making sure you have the support you need for an RN to BSN, and then really choosing the school wisely. Those are my biggest tips for an RN to BSN program.